বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম। Dear ladies and gentlemen, আজকে আপনারা এখানে সবাই এসেছেন এটার জন্য আমি স্বাগতম জানাতে চাই এবং বিশেষভাবে I want to invite a couple people. প্রথমে I want to say thank you for their presence to our chief guest, Honorable Foreign Advisor, Mohammad Tawhid Hussain. Secondly, I would like to say thank you for their presence to our special guest, Honorable Advisor on our Defense and National Integration Development to the Chief Advisor, Lieutenant General Abdul Hafiz. I would also like to give a special mention to General Nuruddin Khan, who is our ex-Chief of Army Staff. I would like to thank everybody else for their presence today. Our topic of the conversation is Regional Security and Chittagong Peace Accord of 1997. This is an unfinished peace-building model of Bangladesh. A thesis that has been formulated by Brigadier General Mohammad Nasimul Gani from 8th Long Course in Bangladesh Army. We'd like to start with the national anthem of Bangladesh. I would like to request all the guests to follow the decorum accordingly. Thank you.
চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ, চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ, তোমার বাতাস আমার প্রাণে, আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি সোনার বাংলা, আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি। ওমা ভাবনে তোর আমি মনে প্রাণে পাগল করে মনে ভাই ভাই রে। ওমা ভাবনে তোর আমি মনে প্রাণে পাগল করে ওমা প্রাণে তোর ভরা থেকে কি দেখেছে আমি, কি দেখেছি মধুর হাসি সোনার বাংলা, আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি। কি শোভা কি ছায়া গো, কি স্নেহ কি মায়া গো, কি আঁচল বিছাইছো মাটির মূলে নদীর কূলে কূলে। মাতর মুখের বাণী আমার কানে লাগে সুধার মতো মাতর মুখের বাণী আমার কানে লাগে সুধার মতো। মাতর বদর খানি মলিন হলে আমি নয়, আমি নয়ন জলে ভাসি সোনার বাংলা, আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি।
Thank you, everyone. I would like to start with a small story today. আপনারা সবাই জানেন যে একটা পিতার জন্য একটা সন্তান যেমন গর্বিত খুব হয়, আজকে একদম অপোজিট আমি ব্রিগেডিয়ার নাসিমুলের সবচেয়ে ছোট ছেলে এবং ছোটবেলা থেকেই দেশের বাইরে চলে যাই, কিন্তু আজকে বাবাকে এখানে দেখে তার বুক পাবলিশমেন্টে আমি এক্সট্রিমলি প্রাউড অ্যান্ড অনার্ড। সো আজকে আমরা ছোট্ট একটা we're going to start with a very short video clip. With this video clip, you'll be able to understand what the current situation in Chittagong Hill Tracks is. So for that, I would request the ID department to please put the video. We're going to come back on the video clip shortly, but currently, can we switch to the presentation, which will be given by the author, Brigadier Nasimul Gani. Please welcome him to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very big question, why I'm here. So today, I am going to answer a few of the questions by which probably the intention of ours who are sitting before me will be finalized or discussed or understood. Next. Let me quote from Sanju. In the military, we love Sanju very much. If you know your enemy, you will never in 100 battles be in danger. If you do not know your enemy, but know yourself, you will lose a battle and win another. If you do not know your enemy nor yourself, you are in danger with every step. So ladies and gentlemen, I like to say something about the book, Regional Security and Chittagong Heritage Peace Accord 1997, an unfinished peace building model of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, why I'm in love with Chittagong Heritage? It's a big question. Because sovereignty, integrity, national security, and humanity is directly involved with this particular Chittagong Heritage. So therefore, I love it because I was commissioned in Chittagong Heritage in 1983, spent about 5.5 years in various capacity as a captain, lieutenant, major, and lieutenant colonel. You may see something about story of Muram uprising in 1985. This was something in Chittagong Heritage, took place in 1985, and probably one of the cardinal factor of changing the status quo in counterinsurgency operation. Here is General Mutin is here. He was my commanding officer, and also there are other officers, those who were there that time. Ladies and gentlemen, I served in Somalia and also saw the fabricated and also fratricidal conflict and external power struggle. I served in Sudan as a sector commander in South Sudan, the capital Juba. And believe it, I saw the human sufferings, fratricidal conflict, and external power struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, it took 8 years when I selected Chittagong Heritage as my PhD thesis. And I never thought of publishing a book, but geostrategic setting, shifting, and the July Revolution, the changing dynamics of the regional security compelled me to understand and to also feel that I should publish my thoughts and my understanding, because it has number of the stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, I finished my research in 2015. So before publishing, I included another chapter 8 with the changing pattern that took place in between 2015 and July Revolution. Now, let us see what is the problem. As you see, the story started long before 1947. It would have been better I could show you the video, then you could have understood the very genesis of everything. However, ladies and gentlemen, be very sure that GSC-24 deal and Army headquarters was not completely aware of the peace accord. Now it is 27 years. Still, we are with this difficult days. Now, what is the problem? Problem is development strategy and cultural identity. This did not have and matching. So there was a, you can say, fear that their cultural identity will be perished. We had number of the strategic blunders at all levels, especially the leaders from different tribes. And we diverse our people in our decision-making cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, Chittagong Hill Trust Regulation 1900, which is a colonial one, also the environmental regulation through Zoom cultivation. This was also a mismatch, misunderstanding of how the economic cultivation will take place. In Chittagong Hill Trust, we have too many stakeholders. Tribal circle chiefs, Chittagong Hill Trust Development Board, District Council, Regional Council, District Commissioner, Army, Police, BGP, Forest, Fisheries, and finally, 4 fractions of PCJSS and UPDF. Who are the targets? Only one target, the people of Chittagong Hill Trust. So, ladies and gentlemen, why we have to solve it and what are the consequences if we don't solve it? All stakeholders are suffering. As we mentioned, the caged Bengalis, dissatisfied Paharis, environmental degradation, lawlessness, killing, taking money by force, corruption, mistrust, economic equality, and so on. We must acknowledge what I'm talking and stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular piece of land of Bangladesh is strategically very, very important. And it is 1/10 of Bangladesh. So question of sovereignty, integrity, and national security is directly involved in it. So if we do not solve it, what are the consequences we are going to face? Number 1, disintegration. Number 2, instability. Number 3, lack of peaceful coexistence. Number 4, uneven development with fear and of cultural discrimination. And finally, pray to the regional powers and local thugs who does not believe in human rights, inequality, and peaceful coexistence due to their evil interest. So how do we overcome it? We have to. We have to have unity in diversity, selfless and unquestioned allegiance to the integrity, sovereignty, security of Bangladesh for national interest. We have to sit top, solve our unresolved issues of peace accord by ourselves. No foreign allegiance or support from outside Bangladesh is required, and that will destabilize our own created model of Bangla peace accord. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only peace accord which has its origin in Bangladesh. It did not have any foreign support anywhere. All the segment of the people of Bangladesh has to take notice of this particular core national security issue of Chittagong Hill Tracts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important that our regional powers, donor agencies, NGOs, others in home and abroad must support the people and the government of Bangladesh. Social cohesion and national integration development will be our key to action plan. And finally, unity of efforts. We need the support, cohesion among the political parties, both at national level as well as regional, local level. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've finished my talk about my book. This is there inside my book. It is the book which demands attention by the various stakeholders like policy makers, those takes research, then other communities, intelligentsia and others. So if you have any question on my book now, you can shoot and then I'll take 2 to 3 minutes, then continue our next program. Thank you. Can anybody to give us the microphone, please, on the left? Yes.
আমার নাম এম সরওয়ার হোসেন, রিটায়ার্ড মেজর and bar at law, practicing the lawyer in the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. আমি চাকরিকালীন সময় 4 বছর পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামে চাকরি করার সুযোগ হয়েছে, খাগড়াছড়ি সদর, দিঘিনালা, বাগাইহাট এই সমস্ত জায়গায়। আপনি যে সমাধানের কথা বলছেন এর বাইরে এটা আপনি এনেছেন কিনা, in my personal opinion, the solution lies in 2 factors. Number 1, ভূমি ব্যবস্থাপনা পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামে। বাংলাদেশের অন্য জায়গায় যদি আমাদের পাহাড়ি কোনো ভাই এসে জমি কেনে, সেটাতে কেউ বাধা দেওয়ার কোনো আইন নাই। তাহলে এই ভূমি ব্যবস্থাপনা ঠিক করতে হবে। জলভূমি এবং বনভূমি বাদ দিয়ে বাকি সব কিছু আপনার বাংলাদেশের যে ভূমি আইন রয়েছে, ট্রান্সফার অফ প্রপার্টি অ্যাক্ট, সেইটার আওতায় অন্যান্য রিলেভেন্ট ল যেগুলো আছে সেইটা আওতায় আনতে হবে। এইটা আপনার রিসার্চ ওয়ার্কে এনেছেন কিনা। আর 2 নম্বর ইস্যু হলো দ্য সেটেলমেন্টটাকে ওপেন করতে হবে। জলভূমি এবং বনভূমি বাদ দিয়ে সেটেলমেন্টকে পুরোপুরি ওপেন করতে হবে। যার খুশি কিনবে, যার খুশি পাহাড়ে থাকবে, যার খুশি প্লেনল্যান্ডে আসবে। এইটা আপনার রিসার্চে আপনি এনেছেন কিনা। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you very much. Very valid question and probably one of the crucial questions in our peace accord. We have identified the problem, and you must be aware this Bangladesh government is taking numerous steps to solve this issue. This has been identified, and I'm sure in future the government of Bangladesh and the other stakeholders will take necessary steps to solve it, because it is a bigger question I have given. This is number 1. And number 2 is regarding the land arrangement details. Well, I have identified the questions because the solutions is little difficult, but not impossible. So it has been identified. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Shukrilah. I was the founder and chairman of National Youth and Social Council and vice president of National Youth Council. Thank you very much, first of all, making such a good efforts, and I also thanks to Foreign Service Secretary. At the same time, I am very happy you have come up with your son. This is the example of youth and elderly. I remember with a bicycle, I traveled in 1977, whole districts, whole country. I found meeting the people, especially at the youth, very important. Then in 77, I requested President Dia to train the young people, and I did it in Khagraturi, Rangamati, and Bandarban. But after that, nobody continued. Anyway, I strongly believe that Chittagong Hill Tax is a greater example for Bangladesh. We can set up the example. I hope you have discussed many things, but set some more example, involve more young people. And I agree with Major Sarwar that this law has to come. And last but not finished, a nation never depends on big population or huge land. A nation depends on the quality of people. Singapore is the good example. We must acknowledge merit leadership and Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We'll have other questions once we have introductions subsequently during tea also, because we have a time constraint. Thank you very much.
Thank you, author, Brigadier General Muhammad Nasimul Gani. Can we give a huge round of applause for the great presentation? Next, I would like to invite a reviewer of the book. His name is Major Del H. Khan. He's an author and a political social influencer in Bangladesh. He's well organized and very well known among our youth community. So please give him a huge round of applause.
So very interestingly, I am the first reader of the book than anyone else. And so, in respect of my commander and mentor, I am going to be delivering my speech from the script so that I don't make any mistakes. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. I am honored to stand before you today at the launch of this significant and timely book, Regional Security and CHT Peace Accord 1997, an unfinished peace-building model of Bangladesh. My heartfelt thanks go to Brigadier General Muhammad Nasimul Gani for inviting me to this event and for authoring such a thought-provoking piece of work. Before delving into the themes of this remarkable book, allow me to share a personal reflection from my military career that resonates deeply with its central ideas. In January 2001, I began my journey as a young lieutenant and counterinsurgency camp commander in rugged terrain of the Kalapahar range, Khagrachari. Stationed in a remote camp during Operation Uttaran, we were tasked with reducing the number of military camps as part of implementing the 1997 Peace Accord. It was a time of both challenges and introspection. Logistics reached us only once a week from the base camp, carrying letters from home and old newspapers. Amidst the vast solitude and breathtaking natural beauty, I found myself grappling with fundamental questions. Why was there still unrest despite the peace accord? As a fresh graduate from the military academy, terms like low-intensity conflict and counterinsurgency operations felt like hieroglyphics to me and to my curious mind. So, I rather immersed myself in understanding the standard operating procedures and the rules of engagements. It was during those quiet moments that I penned my first journal article on the use of global positioning system during counterinsurgency operations in Chittagong Hill Tracts, which was, of course, later published in the Army Journal. Fast forward to 2015, I returned to Chittagong Hill Tracts as the principal staff officer of a brigade. Meanwhile, as a UN peacekeeper, I had witnessed the failure of a comprehensive peace accord in Sudan, which was actually agreed during your tenure, sir, which ultimately led to the secession of Sudan and the birth of South Sudan through a referendum. Upon my return to Chittagong Hill Tracts, much had changed. Communities once referred to as tribals were now seeking recognition as indigenous. While tourism had flourished in areas like Sajek and Nilgiri, land disputes had become more complex. Various vested interest groups, disguised as investors and NGOs, had entered the region Cross-border exchange of insurgency tactics had increased and overall crime pattern had evolved. However, some challenges remained stubbornly persistent. Separatist propaganda for the so-called Jumbuland had escalated on social media, rife with misinformation and disinformation. And yet the same question echoed in my mind. Why does unrest persist despite the peace accord? This very question lies at the heart of Brigadier General Nasimul Gani's this seminal work. His book sheds light on the promises made by the peace accord, the progress achieved, and most importantly, the unfinished journey towards lasting peace. Brigadier General Gani's meticulous research and first-hand experience make this book a compelling read. He combines a scholar's rigor with the insight of a seasoned practitioner, making his analysis not only credible but also deeply engaging. His work is befitting and essential because it reminds us of the stark reality. Peace building is an ongoing process, and agreements alone cannot resolve deeply entrenched conflicts. This book is a treasure trove for anyone interested in regional security, peace building, and conflict resolution. Among its many thought-provoking chapters, I will mention about 2 chapters only. The chapter on partial implementation of 1997 Peace Accord provides a detailed account of the 72 commitments made and how only 25 have been fully realized. This analysis offers readers a deep dive into the challenges of fulfilling such agreements, making it a must-read for policymakers and peace builders alike. And I also was thinking that after a certain period of time, is it necessary to review the clauses of the agreement drafted decades ago? Another captivating chapter discussed the role of social media in fueling separatist propaganda. Brigadier General Gani masterfully unpacks how misinformation campaigns are weaponized to destabilize the region and what can be done to counter them. These are just glimpses of what this book has to offer. Its insights will not only inform readers but also provoke meaningful discussions about the path forward. From my personal experience, I know that true peace is not just about silencing the guns. It requires addressing the root causes of the conflict, empowering local communities, and bridging the gap between policy and reality. Brigadier General Gani's book underscores these principles, offering valuable lessons for Bangladesh and beyond. As we reflect on the Chittagong Hill Tracts, let us recognize that while much has been achieved, there is still a long way to go. This book is not merely a critique, but a call to action. A reminder that the promises made in 1997 must be honored to build a peaceful and prosperous future for the region. To conclude, I once again thank Brigadier General Nasimul Gani for his individual contribution. I encourage all of you to delve into this book and engage with its profound insights. May this work inspire renewed efforts to complete the unfinished journey of peace building in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Major Del H. Khan, for your great review. We have finally got the video working, so I would like to welcome everybody to watch the video.
কতটুকু অশ্রু গড়ালে হৃদয়ে জলে সিক্ত, কত প্রদীপ শিখা জ্বালালে জীবন আলোয় উদ্দীপ্ত, কত ব্যথা বুকে চাপালে তাকে বলি আমি ধৈর্য। নির্মমতা কত দূর হলে জাতি হবে নির্লজ্জ। আমি চিৎকার করে কাঁদিতে চাহিয়া করিতে পারিনি চিৎকার, আমি চিৎকার করে কাঁদিতে চাহিয়া করিতে পারিনি চিৎকার। বুকের ব্যথা বুকে চাপায় নিজেকে দিয়েছি ধিক্কার। কতটুকু অশ্রু গড়ালে হৃদয়ে জলে সিক্ত, কত প্রদীপ শিখা জ্বালালে জীবন আলোয় উদ্দীপ্ত, কত ব্যথা বুকে চাপালে তাকে বলি আমি ধৈর্য। নির্মমতা কত দূর হলে জাতি হবে নির্লজ্জ।
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now welcome the following people on the stage that will be unveiling the book. As you have all noticed, this book is extremely crucial to the peace integration of Bangladesh, not just the Bengalis but also the minorities. I would like to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Foreign Advisor, Amatul Shohid Hussain. I would like to invite our special guest, Honorable Advisor on Defense National Integration, Lieutenant General Abdul Hafiz. I would like to welcome Professor Abdul Kashem Mojumdar, who is a supervisor of our peace thesis. Professor Abdul Hamid, who is a professor in the US and professor of 3 deans. Professor Salimullah Khan from ULAB. Would like to invite Lieutenant General Muhammad Aminul Karim, who is a reviewer of the book. Heroic freedom fighter, Lieutenant Colonel Manish Dewan. We'd also like to invite heroic freedom fighter Major General Jamil Yahsan, who's a bir pratik in the war of liberation. Major General Alauddin M.A. Wadud, bir pratik in Chittagong Hill Trucks, who's also the platoon commander. Heroic freedom movement Omar Farouk, who is a student leader who became blind during the July Revolution. Major General Rezaul Haidar, who is the ex-adjutant of Rajshahi Cadet College and Bangladesh Military Academy. Colonel Abdul Haq, the chairman of Retired Army Officers Welfare Association. Major Delage Khan, the commentator on the book. Mr. Shamim Wahid, publisher of the book. Mr. Nasimul Rahim, executive editor of the Diplomat's World magazine. ASM Suzauddin is a student coordinator of Revolution from Cox's Bazar. He is also the central member of the National Citizen Committee. I would like to invite Tabiul Gani, the son of General Gani. Tashfia Binte Gani, the daughter of General Gani. Ms. Jayo from Australian Embassy and the Regional Security Officer. Would like to also invite representative from the United Nations Development Program, if there's anybody present. And I would like to invite our special guest, General M.D. Nuruddin Khan, who is the ex-Chief of Staff and the Ministry of Power and Utilities.
ভাই সরা লাগবে না না ওই যে ক্যামেরা টুকরো না এটা শুধু প্যাক করে মনিটরের লাইটে এক্সকিউজ মি একটু বসতে হবে প্লিজ ভাই
মুশকিল স্যার একটু বলবেন স্যার ভাইয়া সামনের দিকে একটু সরতে হবে প্লিজ আমরা একটু ছবিটা নিয়ে নিই
Thank you everyone for attending the stage. I'll let General Nasimul Gani to decide.
ভাই একটু সরে লাগবে আপনার
নিয়ে চলে আসুন বাস ওকে ডান
বই কভার কি এটাই ওটা একটু ধরতে বলেন ওইটা একটু ওপেন করুন সবাই এবার ধরতে বলেন
সবাই সামনে নিয়ে একটু সামনের দিকে হ্যাঁ
এই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা বন্ধ করে দেন না এই ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা দিয়েন না
কাগজ কালেকশন করতে
সবাই টাইম দিবে সমস্যা নেই
একটু বই সবাই হ্যাঁ ইয়েস হ্যাকারকে বই নিয়ে গেছে বিচার দিয়েছে তার বইটা একটু সামনে একটু বইটা ধরবেন একটু প্লিজ আরে
Thank you everyone for coming to the stage.
থ্যাংক ইউ
Thank you everyone for coming to the stage. Now we will, thank you. Before we invite our special and chief guest, I would like to invite Professor Salimullah Khan to give a speech on the book in a review.
ব্রিগেডিয়ার জেনারেল নাসিমুল গনি সাহেবকে শুকরিয়া জানিয়ে শুরু করি। উনি আমাকে তার বইয়ের একটা পাণ্ডুলিপি পাঠিয়েছিলেন। তো পুরো বই আমার পক্ষে পড়া সম্ভব হয়নি, আমি কয়েকটা নমুনা অধ্যায় পড়লাম। তা থেকে যে ধারণা হয়েছে সেটা ওনার অনুরোধে আমি দুটো মন্তব্য লিখে পাঠিয়েছিলাম। তো এখানে 2-4 মিনিটের মধ্যে সব কিছু তো আর বলা যাবে না, আমি একটু একটা কি অবজারভেশন বলি। যে আমরা তো উনি যে পরামর্শ দিয়েছেন আমি সেটা সাধারণভাবে স্বাগত জানাই, যে পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের শান্তি প্রতিষ্ঠা করা দরকার। কিন্তু যদি আমরা আন্তরিকভাবে জিজ্ঞাসা করি শান্তি প্রতিষ্ঠার পথে বাধাগুলো কি, আপনাদের মনে করবে সৈয়দ ওয়ালিউল্লাহর একটা উপন্যাস, নাম হচ্ছে লাল শালু। এটার ইংরেজি অনুবাদের নাম খুব মজা, A tree without roots, যে গাছের কোনো শিকড় নেই। পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের সমস্যা লাল শালু নয়, তার কিছু শিকড় আছে। সেই জন্য আমি একটা প্রশ্ন দিয়ে শুরু করি। আমরা যেটাকে স্ট্র্যাটেজিক থিঙ্কিং বলি, রণনীতির সমস্যা, সেটা মূলত রাজনীতির সমস্যারই সম্প্রসারণ। যদি আমরা ফন ক্লাউসবেটসের সেই কথা থেকে শুরু করি, ওয়ার ইজ এ কন্টিনিউয়েশন অফ পলিটিক্স বাই আদার মিনস, তাহলে বোধহয় আমরা একটা আলোচনা সূত্রপাত করতে পারি। তাহলে অশান্তির উৎস কি? যে ভিডিওটা আপনি দেখালেন সেখানেও বোঝা যায় যে আমাদের সংবিধানের একদিকে বলা হয়েছে, এখন যে সংবিধান কার্যকর আছে কিনা আমি ঠিক নিশ্চিত না, যেটাকে অজ্ঞান সংবিধান বলা যায়, সেই সংবিধানের 1 নম্বর ধারাতে আছে যে বাংলাদেশ হচ্ছে একটা এককেন্দ্রিক স্বাধীন এবং সার্বভৌম রাষ্ট্র, ইউনিটারি ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট অ্যান্ড সভরেন রিপাবলিক। এইখানে প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে এই এককেন্দ্রিকতার অর্থ কি? আমি খুব বেশি আগে যাব না, 1947 সনে যায়। ব্রিটেন যখন তাদের রাজ ধ্বংস করে বা ছেড়ে দিয়ে বহু অনিচ্ছা সত্ত্বেও ভারতবর্ষ ত্যাগ করে যাচ্ছিলেন, তখন তারা ভারতবর্ষকে দুভাগে ভাগ করেছেন। কেন ভাগ করেছিলেন? ভারতের কংগ্রেস এবং অন্যান্য পার্টি বলেন এর প্রধান কারণ হচ্ছে ব্রিটেনের নীতি ডিভাইড এন্ড রুল, ভাগ করে শাসন করো। সেইটা তারাই হিন্দু মুসলমানের মধ্যে বিরোধ তৈরি করেছেন। আবার তাদেরই এক অংশ বলেছেন যে এখানে 2টা জাতি আছে। মোহাম্মদ আলী জিন্না এই থিওরিটা তৈরি করেন নাই, তিনি এটা গ্রহণ করেছিলেন। সেই সময় পাকিস্তান এবং ভারত তৈরি হলো। তো পাকিস্তান হওয়ার পরে ভারতের মধ্যে যে সমস্যা, পাকিস্তানের সেই সমস্যা ছিল। আমাদের দেশ সেখান থেকে 1971 সনে আমরা আলাদা দেশ হিসেবে স্বাধীন হলাম। এখন মনে হচ্ছিল যেন বাংলাদেশ ইজ এ ওয়ান্ডারফুল, ইউনিক অ্যান্ড হোমোজেনিয়াস কান্ট্রি। আমাদের বড় বড় অধ্যাপকরা, জাতীয় অধ্যাপক আব্দুল রাজ্জাক তাই বলতেন। কিন্তু আমাদের স্বীকার তো করা উচিত যে বাংলাদেশে বৈচিত্র্য আছে, তাহলে সেই বৈচিত্র্যের অনুযায়ী সামাজিক নীতি রাখতে হবে। আমরা যেটা মনে করি যে বাংলাদেশের একটা অখণ্ড অংশ, সেটা ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু বাংলাদেশের জনগণের মধ্যে যে নানা জাতিভেদ আছে এটা স্বীকার করা ভালো। ব্রিটিশ আমলে ভারতীয় এখন মনে ভারত একটি জাতি। সুরেন্দ্রনাথ ব্যানার্জি কংগ্রেসের সভাপতি ছিলেন, তিনি তার আত্মজীবনীর নাম দিয়েছিলেন যে এ নেশন ইন দ্য মেকিং। সব নেশন ইন দ্য মেকিং, বাংলাদেশের তার চেয়ে ভিন্ন নয়। আপনি নেশন যেভাবে গড়তে চান সেভাবে গড়তে পারবেন। কাজে পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামে যদি শান্তি প্রতিষ্ঠা করতে চাই, আমরা অশান্তির উৎসগুলো আমাদের দেখতে হবে। একটা হচ্ছে এই যে প্রশ্নগুলো উঠলো, বাংলাদেশের সব অংশ একরকম, আমরা সবাই গিয়ে সেখানে বসতি স্থাপন করতে পারবো। কিন্তু ব্রিটিশরা যখন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামকে নেন তখন চট্টগ্রামের অংশ ছিল, এটা নামের মধ্যেই প্রকাশ, চিটাগং হিল ট্র্যাক্টস। তারা নবাব মীর কাসেম আলী খানের কাছ থেকে এটা নিয়েছিলেন সিডেড টেরিটরি হিসাবে। বর্ধমান মেদিনীপুরের পরে ছিল চট্টগ্রাম। সেটা তারা 1900 সন নাগাদ এসে 1860-এর পরে 40 বছর পরে তারা আলাদা অঞ্চল হিসেবে স্বীকৃতি দিলেন। আমরা যদি মনে করি যেটা ব্রিটেনের একটা কৌশল মাত্র, বোধহয় আমরা ভুল করব। এখন দেশ স্বাধীন হওয়া সত্ত্বেও বাংলাদেশের জনগণের সবাই বাঙালি বলে যাওয়ার যে ঘোষণা, এটার মধ্যে যে একটা ভুল ছিল সেটা এতদিনই আমরা বুঝতে পারি নাই। মানুষ শুধুমাত্র রুটি খেয়ে বাঁচে না, মানুষ তার মর্যাদা নিয়েও বাঁচে। যেই কথাটাকে ইংরেজিতে আইডেন্টিটি বলে, আমি বাংলায় বলি তার আত্মভাব, আত্মপরিচয় নয়, সেটাকে স্বীকৃতি দেওয়া যদি আমাদের সংবিধানে না থাকে তাহলে সেটা সংবিধান পরিবর্তন করতে হবে। বাংলাদেশের অধিবাসীগণ বাঙালি বলিয়া পরিচিত হইবেন, এটার মধ্যে একটা অধ্যত্ব আছে। অধ্যত্ব নয়, একটা অবিমৃষ্যকারিতা বা ভবিষ্যৎ না দেখার একটা রোগ আছে। সেটা যদি আমরা রাজনৈতিকভাবে ঠিক করি তাহলে অন্যান্য প্রশ্ন ঠিক করা যাবে। ব্রিগেডিয়ার জেনারেল সাহেবের বইতে আমি যা দেখলাম, সেখানে এই পলিসি কি হবে এটার জন্য যারা আঞ্চলিক এবং আন্তর্জাতিক ক্ষমতাধর শক্তি, তারা তো তাদের খেলা খেলবেই, কিন্তু আমাকে মনোযোগ দিতে হবে আগে আমার নীতির উপর। আমার দেশ, আমার দেশের ভিতরে সমস্ত সমস্যার সমাধানের জন্য যারা পক্ষ, তাদের অন্তর্ভুক্ত করেছে কিনা। এখন বলবেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণ, এটা একটা আনডিফাইন্ড জিনিস। জনগণ বলতে বুঝতে হবে সেখানে 1900 সনের আগে বা 47 সনের আগে যেই বছরটাকে আপনি কাট অফ লাইন ধরেন না কেন, তার আগে যারা ছিলেন এবং পরে যাদেরকে আমরা বসতি করতে অনুমতি দিয়েছি। কাজে শুধু জুমের মাধ্যমে সেখানে পরিবেশ নষ্ট হচ্ছে এটা বলার আগে আমাদের বোঝা উচিত জুম দুই ধরনের। জুম চিরকালীন ছিল পারিবারিক, হাউস হোল্ড বা ফুড ক্রপ প্রোডাকশনের জন্য, কিন্তু এখন যদি কেউ জুমের অনুমতি নিয়ে সেখানে ক্যাশ ক্রপ প্রোডাকশন শুরু করে, দুটো কিন্তু এক চরিত্র নয়, যদি বা দুটোর নাম একটা হবে জুম। এই যে জুম মালেন শব্দটা বেরলো, এটা একেবারে আধুনিক আবিষ্কার। অর্থাৎ বিভিন্ন রকমের 13, 14, 15 গোষ্ঠীকে একত্রিত করার জন্য এর চেয়ে ভালো সিগনিফায়ার আর হয় না। আমি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছি, পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের সাথে বাংলাদেশের বাঙালিদের পার্থক্যটা যতটা দেখানো হয় ফিজিক্যাল, বায়োলজিক্যাল, ততটা নয় যতটা ডিসকার্সিভ এবং সিগনিফায়ার আমরা তৈরি করেছি। এটা আমাদের ডিসকোর্স থেকে উৎপত্তি হয়েছে, সেই জন্য আমি ডিসকার্সিভ বলছি। মানে এটা প্রাইমোর্ডিয়াল নয়, কারণ অনেকে বলে থাকে এটাকে টিপিক্যাল কলোনিয়াল সিচুয়েশন। এইটা টিপিক্যাল কলোনিয়াল সিচুয়েশন নয়। আইয়ুব খান সাহেব বাঙালিদের সম্পর্কে যে ধরনের কলোনিয়াল মন্তব্য করেছিলেন ফ্রেন্ডস নট মাস্টার্স বইতে, বাঙালিরা ছোট ছোট, বাঙালিরা কালো, বাঙালিরা যুদ্ধ করতে পারে না, এই জাতীয় কথাবার্তা, এগুলি যে রেসিস্ট মন্তব্য ছিল। আমি সবিনয় নিবেদন করব, আমাদের স্ট্র্যাটেজিক সমস্যার চিন্তা শুধু মিলিটারি চিন্তা দিলে হবে না। মিলিটারি খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ জিনিস, কিন্তু মিলিটারি সবকিছু বুঝতে পারে না। মানে হেগেল নামক এক বিখ্যাত দার্শনিক বলছিলেন, বলে ম্যাথমেটিশিয়ানস মাস্ট বি লাইক অ্যানিমালস বিকজ অনলি হিউম্যান বিংস থিঙ্ক। আশা করি আপনারা আমাকে ভুল বুঝবেন না যে ইন দিস কেস মিলিটারি ইজ লাইক অ্যানিমালস বিকজ অনলি হিউম্যান বিংস ক্যান থিঙ্ক। হোয়াট ডাজ থিঙ্কিং মিন? এই সমস্যা মিলিটারি নয়, এমনকি সকল পলিটিক্যালও নয়। এই সমস্যা সিভিল সোসাইটি থেকে শুরু হয়। মানে সমাজে মানুষের মানুষের পরিবার এবং সমাজ থেকে যে বন্ধন তৈরি হয় সেখানে তৈরি হয়। পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের লোকজনকে যদি আমরা সমাজে এলিয়েন, ডিফারেন্ট এইভাবে চিহ্নিত করতে থাকি, তাহলে আরো এলিয়েন এবং আরো ডিফারেন্ট হয়। যদি সেভাবে চিন্তা না করে পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামকে বাংলাদেশের ইন্টিগ্রাল অংশ বলতে আমাদের যেমন ভালো লাগে, বাংলাদেশের 1/10 তাহলে বাংলাদেশ পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণকে বাংলাদেশের জনগণের ভাই হিসেবে, বন্ধু হিসেবে যদি আমরা বিবেচনা করি, তাহলে কেমন করে করতে হবে? এই প্রশ্ন তো কাশ্মীরে উঠেছে। কাশ্মীর যখন 1947 সনে ভারত যোগ দিতে চায়নি, রাজা হরি সিং যোগ দিয়েছেন, তখন এখন যে তর্কটা হচ্ছে কি, কাশ্মীরের জনগণ যে গণভোটের অধিকার দাবি করেছিলেন সেটা তাদের এখনো দেওয়া হয়নি, এবং সেখানে যে বিশেষ সাংবিধানিক শর্ত দিয়ে কাশ্মীরকে ভারতের অন্তর্ভুক্ত করা হয়েছিল, তথাকথিত 370 ধারা, সেখানে যে অবাধে সেখানে জমি বেচা কেনা করা যাবে না। সাম্প্রতিক সরকারগুলি সেগুলো তুলে দিয়ে সেখানে হাঙ্গামা কমিয়েছে না বাড়িয়েছে, ইতিহাস বলবে, এখনো ঘটনা এখনো বাইরে আছে, এখনো বিচার শেষ হয়নি। এই জন্য মনে করি পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম বাংলাদেশের অবিচ্ছিন্ন অংশ, এই বিষয়ে কোনো সন্দেহ নেই। কিন্তু যে ভূমি রাজস্ব অথবা ভূমি বোর্ড যেভাবেই দেখেন, ভূমি নীতি পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামকে বিশেষ এলাকা হিসেবে ব্রিটিশরা ট্রিট করেছিলেন, বাংলাদেশের ট্রিট না করার পক্ষে কোনো যুক্তি নাই। যদি আমরা শুধুমাত্র লোভ এবং রিরংসা দিয়ে কোনো দেশের দিকে তাকাই, তাহলে আমরা সমস্যা তৈরি করবো, সমাধান করতে পারবো না। আমি যেন ব্রিগেডিয়ার জেনারেল নাসিমুলের সাথে একমত হয়ে বলি, শান্তি চুক্তি বাস্তবায়ন করতে হলে বাস্তবায়নটার বাধাটা কোথায় আমাদের স্বীকার করতে হবে। পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণকে এর মধ্যে একটা তাদের স্বার্থের জন্যে, তাদের আনন্দের জন্যই তাদেরকে সংযুক্ত করতে হবে, শুধু চাপিয়ে দিয়ে হবে না। এই ধরনের ইতিহাস আমরা বহু পেয়েছি অতীতেও। তো সেই জন্য আমার মনে হয় আমরা যথেষ্ট শিক্ষা গ্রহণ করব। গল্প অর্থ হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশের সিভিল সোসাইটিতে যে বর্ণবাদ আছে, পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের দিকে যেভাবে এলিয়েন এবং ভিন্ন হিসেবে, ভিন্ন শুধু নয়, মানে অধস্তর হিসেবে দেখার যে দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি, এটা দুদিনে বদলাবে না। সেটার উদ্যোগ আমাদের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থায়, আমাদের সোশ্যাল কমিউনিকেশনে আমাদের নিতে হবে। এইটা আমার দু একটা সাধারণ চিন্তার কথা আপনাদের সাথে বললাম। অল্প সময় কথা বললে হয় কি, ভুল বোঝাবুঝির বেশি সৃষ্টি হয়, কারণ মানুষের মধ্যে একটাই বোঝাবুঝি হয়, সেটা হচ্ছে ভুল বোঝাবুঝি। তা আশা করি এখান থেকে কিছু প্রশ্ন উদ্বোধন হবে। আমি একটা প্রশ্ন করতে আসলাম, বাংলাদেশের শান্তি চুক্তি 7 বছর ধরে বাস্তবায়িত না হওয়ার প্রধান কারণ হচ্ছে আমরা এটা বাস্তবায়িত করতে চাইনি। বাস্তবায়িত করতে চাইলে পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণ কি চায় সেটা মনোযোগ দিয়ে শুনতে হবে, এবং সেটা আমি মনে করি বাস্তবায়ন করা সম্ভব। যদি সেটা বাস্তবায়ন করি, কোনো অবজেক্টিভ কারণ নাই পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণ বাংলাদেশ থেকে আলাদা হতে চাইবে। যারা সেই প্রচারণা করছে, আপনারা যারা ভয় পাচ্ছেন সেখানে জুম্মালেন সেপারেটিস্ট দাবি হচ্ছে, সেটার পেছনে আমাদের পার্শ্ববর্তী দেশের স্বার্থ থাকতে পারে, আন্তর্জাতিক মহলের স্বার্থ থাকতে পারে, কিন্তু আমরা জানি শেষ বিচারে মানুষ যদি ভুল বোঝানো না হয়, মানুষ কখনো নিজের স্বার্থের বিরুদ্ধে যায় না। আপনাদের মনে পড়বে সক্রেটিসের কথা। সক্রেটিস বলছে মানুষ ভুল করে কারণ সে জানে না। আমি সক্রেটিসের একমত নই। মানুষকে কোনটা জানালে সে নিজের স্বার্থ কোনটা চিনবে, সেটা শেষ পর্যন্ত নির্ণয় করা যায়। যদি পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রামের জনগণের স্বার্থের কথা আমরা ভাবি, তাহলে বাংলাদেশে থাকলেই তাদের লাভ বেশি, এবং সেইটা তাদের কাছে আপনি শুধু কথায় চিড়ে বেচবে না, কাজে প্রমাণ করতে হবে। এবং তাকে বিদেশি হিসেবে ট্রিট না করে, যে ভিডিও আমরা বানালাম তাতে মনে হয় এটা বিদেশি হিসেবে, এক্সোটিক হিসেবে দেখানোর প্রবণতা আছে। সমস্যাটা তো নেচারের ভিন্নতায় নয়, এটা তো আমার সামাজিক দৃষ্টিভঙ্গির ভিন্নতায়। সেটা বদলানোর জন্য আমাদের অনেক পরিশ্রম করতে হবে। আমাকে সামান্য কথাটুকু বলবার সুযোগ দেওয়ার জন্য আপনাদেরকে অশেষ ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Professor Salimullah Khan. Right now, I will invite our chief guest, Honorable Foreign Advisor. Would like to invite our special guest, Honorable Advisor on Defense and National Integration, Lieutenant General Abdul Hafiz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected former Chief of Army Staff, General M. Nuruddin Khan, my seniors in the military, ambassadors, members from the academia, my colleagues, distinguished guests and participants, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. It's a bit scary for me to speak in front of a luminary, a mentor like General M. Nuruddin Khan, and also in front of seniors like General Jamili Hassan Bir Pratik. We have two GOCs sitting here of 24 division, the division that spearheaded, that led from the front the counter-insurgency, the low-intensity campaign to safeguard the sovereignty and integrity in Bangladesh, particularly bringing peace and stability in Chittagong Hill Tracts. One is General M. Nuruddin Khan, who was the GOC of 24 division, and also we have a former GOC, Jan Matin, GOC of 24 Infantry Division, and also we have military members who served for 3, 4, 5 years in Chittagong Hill Tracts, and they have expertise not only in counterinsurgency but also in bringing peace and stability in Chittagong Hill Tracts. But I would like to begin with my recollection of my first commanding officer. Some of you may be knowing him, a very polished, posh, stylish and well-dressed Lieutenant Colonel in the late 70s, the then Lieutenant Colonel Imtiaz Ahmed Chaudhary. He was a wonderful person, a good commanding officer, and I, as his adjutant, had to receive him in the morning and also see him off when he used to leave the office, myself and also the quartermaster. But what used to impress us is the nicest jeep, the transport in the unit used to be reserved for the commanding officer. The best jeep, the well-maintained jeep, is for the commanding officer to ride and to use. So as a lieutenant, when I used to look at the jeep of the commanding officer, it was my dream that when I myself become a lieutenant colonel and a commanding officer, I would also ride a jeep like this, and my adjutant and quartermaster would be seeing me off when I am leaving the office. So that was the dream I had as a lieutenant in the unit in Mirpur cantonment. But unfortunately, when I myself became a lieutenant colonel myself and a commanding officer on promotion, I found myself in a place where I did not have the commanding officer's jeep. I was in Marisha in Baghaichori, which was inaccessible by transport. And so I did not find a CO's jeep, and there is no question of the driver opening the door and the adjutant and quartermaster seeing me off, noting down the points, the last points from the CO before he leaves the office. So I found myself in a place where there was no luxury of enjoying or riding a CO's jeep. So I thought, when my first term of office as CO in Baghaichori, in Marisha zone under Rangamati region, was over in the year 1993, I dreamt that I might have a chance for a second command in a peace location where I would have the luxury of riding a CO's jeep, commanding officer's jeep, the finest jeep in the unit. And then in my second command, I found myself, I landed up in Naniarchor, again in Chittagong Hill Tracts, and in an area which has to be reached by speedboat. So I never had the chance of riding or enjoying a CO's jeep. Yes, of course, when I used to come for attending the regional commanders conference, visiting Rangamati or going to the Chittagong cantonment rear, definitely there was a CO's jeep, but sometimes it used to be attached with the region headquarters or the brigade headquarters for various purposes. So I retired from the army, not fulfilling the dream of riding a CO's jeep opened by the driver and adjutant quartermaster noting down the points as the CO was leaving. So this is a recollection of my first commanding officer, the then Colonel Imtiaz Ahmed Chaudhary. Now, having said that, when I received the invitation from Brigadier Nasimul Gani, who is known as Bobby amongst his very close circles, that I have to be present for the unveiling ceremony of his book titled Regional Security and Chittagong Hill Tracts, Peace Accord 1997, an unfinished peace-building model of Bangladesh. Now I found three things here. One is the regional security, the other is the Peace Accord 1997, and the third, of course, unfinished peace. The peace not yet achieved. Truly, it's an honor for me, but the first question that struck me, a diehard infantryman and a commando, an accomplished commando like Nasimul Gani, why has he ventured in writing a book on the regional security, on Chittagong Hill Tracts and on Peace Accord? And I remember that Nasimul Gani Chaudhary was not only an accomplished commando who served in the Army Commando Battalion, which was raised when General Nuruddin Khan was the Army Chief. Nasimul Gani Chaudhary, I think in one of his last jumps, he found himself on a tree. It was not a proper landing, and he injured himself. If I am not wrong, because I have heard the story, but I may not be recollecting the entire episode. So this commando Nasimul Gani, he fell, and his parachute did not open in time or something like that, and he injured himself, and that was the end of his jumps from the sky as an army commando. So why this commando Nasimul Gani has ventured into writing this book on Chittagong Hill Tracts, and he has answered it himself that he has a passion for Chittagong Hill Tracts because he served there for long 5.5 years, and he has seen the conflict, he has seen the instability and insecurity reigning in that part of the country for long 5.5 years, and out of his passion for Chittagong Hill Tracts, he has ventured to author this book. And this book has been published at a time when the interim government is facing security challenges in maintaining communal and social harmony among the people living in the three health districts. And you might like to recollect that in the month of September, only 4 months ago, we have witnessed a great deal of commotion, agitation, and unrest. And at least 5 or 6 advisors had to rush there when there was a mob justice, the killing of people by mob, and that erupted, that triggered numerous violence within a span of 3-4 days. Now the issues that are raging in Chittagong Hill Tracts since 1976, or even before that, as Professor Salimullah Khan has mentioned, these have a number of dimensions. And I would like to recollect or mention a number of these dimensions. First is it has an ethno-religious dimension. Definitely it has a political dimension because the people, the ethnic groups in Chittagong Hill Tracts, they want to have a political identity. They want to have some kind of autonomy for themselves. It has a military dimension because there has been an insurgency and consequently there has been a counter-insurgency. It has a deep-rooted issue on the land ownership, and Professor Salimullah Khan has very nicely articulated that we have to decide who would own the land, in what capacity, in what procedure the land ownership issue would be resolved. And of course, there is an economic dimension to the situation, to the conflict that has been raging in Chittagong Hill Tracts. The author, Brigadier General Nasimul Gani, he has served both before the peace accord that was signed in 1997, and he has served there after the peace accord. So he has seen the situation, he has observed the situation before and after, and that's why we find in the title of the book an unfinished peace-building model of Bangladesh. Now, it was assumed that the peace accord signed in 1997 would bring durable and long-term peace in Chittagong Hill Tracts. Unfortunately, after 27 years of the signing of this accord, peace has not been established. We do not see stability. We do not see security in Chittagong Hill Tracts. Gani's book highlights the different aspects of this peace accord. It analyzes the strong points and also the weak points of the accord. And as I mentioned, why after 27 years of signing of this accord, we have to find out why the provisions, the 72 provisions or 72 clauses mentioned in the peace accord, why many of the clauses have not been implemented by the successive governments in the last 27 years. Now the end result of this non-implementation of this accord are many, but I'd like to mention just a few. The peace and security in hill tracts, in the 3 hill tracts is still elusive. There is an absence of communal harmony. The non-signatory to the peace accord, the UPDF, there is internal conflict, infighting among themselves, and every month, if you go through the media reports, you will find that in every month there are casualties, there are deaths, there are killings occurring due to infighting, and also sometimes the counterinsurgency, the law enforcement are getting involved. And most importantly, we are finding there is an unabated toll collection, a parallel economy being run by those who are not amenable to the peace accord and who have not signed the peace accord. So this toll collection, there are a lot of beneficiaries, and that is one of the reasons why we are not being able to solve this issue. Gani has highlighted all these issues and points, and he has mentioned how a long-term and durable peace in Chittagong Hill Tracts can be achieved, and he has highlighted that it depends on implementation of this multifaceted strategy focusing on political, social and economic reforms. Gani has also mentioned that the military has a critical dual role, and in this dual role, one is focused that on the military and the law enforcement, they have to focus on the security aspects, on maintaining stability, and the second thing, the law enforcement, particularly the military, has also to focus on engaging the community and taking the community together. And this has also been highlighted and this question has been asked by Professor Salimullah Khan, that have the local communities been engaged, have they been taken on board while implementing this peace accord. Gani reflects on the need for a comprehensive approach that goes beyond military presence and incorporates development, education, cultural understanding to achieve lasting peace. The book recognizes the importance of security operations to maintain order, but also it highlights the need for demilitarization. Peace and stability has broader implications for regional security because of its proximity to neighboring countries. Whatever happens in Chittagong Hill Tracts, in the 3 hill districts, has an implication on the same community who are living across the border in Mizoram or in Nagaland. It has implications for same ethnic groups that are living in parts of Myanmar. So this security and stability in Chittagong Hill Tracts has a wider implication for the security and stability in the region. And it is crucial not just for Bangladesh, but for the security of the entire region, and it needs a collective effort from local communities, from government and international partners. People's participation and consultation must go side by side, and the Bangladesh Armed Forces, we are committed to continue to play an active role in support of the peace process while ensuring security in Chittagong Hill Tracts. We encourage further discussion among government agencies, security forces and civilian society to address the challenges identified in the book and to promote a sustainable peace in the region. Lastly, I would like to congratulate Brigadier Nasimul Gani for venturing to author this wonderful book, and no doubt this would be a very useful reading not only for the academia but for the practitioners and for those who would be serving in Chittagong Hill Tracts and who would be involved in the peace process of Chittagong Hill Tracts. I, on my behalf and on behalf of everyone present here, wish a big success of the book titled Regional Security and Chittagong Peace Accord 1997, an unfinished peace building model of Bangladesh. We have a lot to learn from this book, but I would request all of you so that we broadly publicize this book, and we read this book and we encourage others to read. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Musraf, please. Now, I would like to invite our chief guest, Honorable Foreign Advisor, M.D. Tawhid Hussain.
Thank you. My good friend, Lieutenant Hafiz forgot to address me. General Udin sir, other senior military officers, the author of the book, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I did not read the book, so I cannot comment on it as such. But what I want to say is that the unfinished peace building model that we have had there needs to be finished. Finished meaning that you don't have to finish in a day, but then you need to take actions so that peace can return to this land. As has been very aptly pointed out by Mr. Salimullah Khan, Professor Salimullah Khan, the detractors will try in their own interest to create dissension, but then when you allow that to affect yourself, that is your making. You take right steps so that peace can be established. And as has been again mentioned by him, that people will look after their own interests. So when they find that peace is in their interest, they will go by it. Now, here comes the question: does peace really take care of the interests of all the people? Perhaps not. In every society, there is a section which benefits from instability, lack of peace, and conflict. Now, we have in Hiltrax, the little that I have been in touch with the Hiltrax situation, we have in Hiltrax elaborate system of rent seeking already established. In fact, anyone who has any activity, particularly the non-locals, they have to pay a regular amount to people in uniform. They come in uniform with a gun. Meaning they are not the state actors, but then they have sort of uniform, they have sort of establishment, and they seek money. Now, this is the easiest way of living well. Now, this now poses two problems. One is you establish peace so that the general population can live in peace and pursue their economic life. And at the same time, you also have to take actions so that those who have taken the easy way out of rent seeking, they find it difficult to pursue their trade. So there are two aspects of it. One is the security aspect, the other is the economic aspect. As far as I have seen and studied also a little bit, that there have been the place people going there and settling down for economic reasons again. People who are, well, someone who is well off did not go there. Initially it was the very rock bottom of the society. People who didn't have a very respectable way of maintaining themselves, they went there in search of an opportunity. But at the same time, there are people who thought different sorts of opportunities that using the land to become sort of rich, some in legal ways, some even in illegal ways, and we have seen those experiments. What we did not do side by side is that to ensure that the original residents of that area, they find that the activities that are going on benefits them financially and economically. If we could do that, I think the integration would have been much easier. That has not happened, and it is because of this that the animosity between the Plains people who went there and the original inhabitants who are there, this was there. This animosity had developed. Of course, there is the question of, as he has mentioned, that I take a lot of cue from him, that it's not only by bread but also by honor that you live. We need to respect their culture. We need to respect, it's a diversity we have. We have to accept that. First of all, we must depart from the fact that we all are Bengalis. We are not all Bengalis. So, আমরা সবাই বাঙালি না। বাঙালি ছাড়াও যারা আছেন, we have to take cognizance of them and we have to respect them as distinct groups with distinct cultures, with equal rights, with equal respect also. I think there lies the solution. It's not easy. It's not easy, particularly after so many years of living side by side with suspicion. We have lived side by side with suspicion for a too long a period. Initially, this suspicion was not there, but then it grew over time because we just took the course to separate ways of life and not really trying to integrate. It is possible very much that the same thing has happened to many of the plain tribes. There was no conflict between the plain tribes and the locals, but then over time we have seen that in many cases, in many cases we have become sort of antagonistic, and again with the intent of a group of people who wanted to benefit themselves from exploiting the other communities. I think we need to develop a culture in which we respect each other, we take care of each other's interests, and of course the governing authorities need to take the lead in ensuring that. We have for a very, very long time expected and hoped that peace would return to the hill tribes, which has not fully. Well, a sort of semi-peace has existed since the signing of the accord, because we did not have fighting over all the time, but conflicts have arisen, and from very small issues, as Hafiz has mentioned, very small issues, there is a flare-up, because the basic respect and understanding is not there. If we can establish that, I think small issues will not flare up into major conflicts. And I sincerely hope that we take the right recourse to really understand the sentiments of all the people, of all the ethnicities, and course our, develop our course accordingly, so that we can live in peace with each other, and the hill tribes, with its beautiful surroundings, can become a real source for the locals as well as for the others of this country. I congratulate the author for taking making the efforts to write this book, and I'm sure that this will give not only a reading opportunity, but also a lot of scope for research and a little bit of eye-opening, so that we can have more studies on this, and we can really devise ways by which we can resolve the issue and establish peace in the Chittagong Hill Tribes, which is all our dream. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an incredibly long day, and thank you everyone for coming. For our last point, I would like to welcome Brigadier Nasimul Gani for a vote of thanks, and after that, where we have refreshment and networking.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to depart, but before that, let me thank the Honorable Special Guest, Chief Guest, our ex-Chief of Staff, Bangladesh Army, General Nuruddin, and others, those are present here. I also like to thank Diplomats World, the editor and others who has helped us and joined us. And also the editor who has, the publisher who has helped us in doing this. I'd like to also thank the others who has come here and encouraged us in listening, supporting, and also organizing the whole thing. I also like to thank the staffs, those who are here, who has been helping relentlessly, and especially the RAOWA, who has helped a lot from their perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to, for the others, tell that this particular book has been dedicated for the July Revolution martyrs and the heroes. So let me tell dedicated to the martyrs and valiant fighters of the Holy of July-August 2024 revolution in Bangladesh. Your courage, sacrifice, and unyielding spirit inspire us, dream of a brighter, freer, and more just tomorrow. This work is a tribute to your unnamed legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end, we are brothers and sisters. As our honored guest has expressed their views, we have to take this particular people in our fold, embrace them, and the problem is very easy to solve. As it has been identified, the chief guest, that there is an underlying what is called problem of misunderstanding, which can be very well solved. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for coming and encouraging us. Assalamu alaikum.
I would like to thank everybody. Right now we have refreshments. I would like to ask if General MP Nuruddin Khan would like to say something. I will hand over the mic.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, special guest, my colleagues, friends, professors, diplomats, journalists, Assalamu alaikum. After such an excellent deliberation by all of you, particularly Chief Guest, the special guest, and Gani, there is nothing else to add. I would only like to say two points. That is, I had the privilege to be the GOC of the division of Persian division, they call it. And I thought it was one of my best achievements as a commander. If I look at the signboard behind, we can see unfinished peace building. I don't know if General Gani has added a chapter, whether its unfinished issue would be finished someday. Has he also suggested some means, solutions, and ideas? We'll be expecting that from him, if not in this book, but in the corollary later. Another point I was surprised and shocked when I read that the army headquarters and the division headquarters had no idea about this peace accord beginning. How could it happen? And army didn't say a word about it. Very strange, very strange. But you had an idea about it? I also not there. But it's very strange that now we expect you to come out with some sort of idea and solution to make the unfinished to unfinished.
Sir, excuse me, যাকে দিয়ে ভিসা কোটা সাইন করালো, যাকে দিয়ে আবুল হাসান আব্দুল্লাহ, he had no idea about Hitler, knew nothing. It was the arrogance of political decision to allow him to sign this accord.
So bad luck for the army that they had to face that uneven situation.
The draft which was finalized during the last BNP period. The last previous BNP government was supposed to sign the treaty. As finally RAOWA suggested that as our election was there, why not we wait for the election and let the next government to sign. So that was the main reason why government would sign the treaty by less than 3 months. And the reason was, I know the eternal thing. Whatever was finalized during the previous government was just signed by
That's bad luck for us. Now I feel bad that the Honorable Chief Guest had to face the music to solve this issue in a better way in future. Last point, I said I was very happy to be posted as the GOC General Division Operation Command. I had the advantage that I was a PM or Director of Operation. I was CGS for long 4 years, so I had the complete grasp of the issue and the situation in check. That gave me a lot of advantage. And I hope all of you know, most of you, that during my tenure, only one occasion in the history that the Shanti Bahini, there are two groups, Priti group and Larva group. Larva was a bigger group, Priti was a smaller group. So I started negotiating with the Priti group first, and they ultimately agreed to surrender to me. And I must say it was a great achievement. I didn't know the figures by now, so I called the GSO1 CI General Division that can you from the archive find out the figures how many surrendered to me, and he gave me a phone call later that it was 648 Shanti Bahini with arms and 323 Shanti Bahini without arms. That's a big figure. And once they surrendered, I made a museum. As you enter the division headquarters of the right side, there's a tin shed, all the weapons are kept there in the Soviet net. And then I started negotiating with the Larva group. Unfortunately, when I just started the negotiation, I got the response to Larva. He was willing to come and negotiate with me. I got a posting from Chittagong to Sawa division. And when they heard that I had been posted out, they all went away back to India and I couldn't protect them anymore. I came back, that was where I took the surrender ceremony. Otherwise, probably if I could stay for another year or two, part of Lava would also be surrendered to us. I'm sorry to waste your time. Everybody must be very tired and exhausted. Thank you all for listening to me. Allah Hafiz. Thank you, General Hafiz, and Excellency, the Chief Guest. Heartiest congratulations.